Best action-based games. Games with combat as its primary and most important theme. I mostly mean close quarters combat, but there is also potential for gunplay in this category. These are the top 10 action games of all time, so relax and enjoy. We'll discussing some of the greatest action games ever in this video. Before continuing, please like this video and subscribe to our channel on YouTube for more. Let's look at it. Number 10. Ninja Gaiden 2. When Ninja Gaiden was first revived on the Xbox in 2008, it was difficult to even envision an action game that was faster and more frantic. But then Ninja Gaiden 2 appeared. Even though Ninja Gaiden 2 maintained the same basic fighting game style combo inputs, light and heavy attacks, and core combat system as its predecessor, it felt very different. A new health system that restored your health up to a certain degree at the end of each combat encounter, and made the game much more linear and action-packed. Made for these tense confrontations where winning every battle was a huge relief. Although Ninja Gaiden 2's level design wasn't quite as good as the first time around, its slick animations, fluid action, and satisfying combat are enough to get it onto this list. Number 9. Vanquish. Some people might say, hey, that's not an action game. That's a third-person shooter. When they see Vanquish. And to that I reply, let's be honest, you're doing it wrong if you're playing Vanquish like a typical third-person shooter cover-based shooter. One of the best action games is Vanquish, which is an action game through and through. Like many other action games, it depends on constant mobility, skillful application of your special abilities, in this case, your high speed dash and the capacity to momentarily halt time, as well as familiarity with particular enemy types and the most effective methods for eliminating them. There is still nothing quite like it today. Platinum its games at its most elite. Number 8. God of War 3. The apex of God of War's classic style can be found in God of War 3, a style that appears to be characterized by extreme brutality, but is very strategic. Every adversary had unique design quirks, and if you were aware of them, you could either make them much easier to defeat or use them to Kratos' advantage. There are many ways to counter the Gorgon's petrifying stare, including parrying it and using it against other foes, using smaller foes as battering rams for safe damage, killing minotaurs whenever you need a health boost, grappling harpies to stay in the air and avoid danger on the ground, and more. Number 7. Bayonetta 1. Since both Bayonettas are of comparable quality, it is difficult to choose one over the other. Therefore, both of them are given the 7 and 6 rankings at the same time. As an action game, Bayonetta succeeds on almost every level. Its action is outrageous, difficult, and hella stylish, but most importantly, it pays off when offense and defense are skillfully balanced. The benefit of playing strong defense in many other action games is avoiding harm and potentially getting the chance to attack. But in Bayonetta, every time you make a flawless dodge, you set off which, due to the action slowing down, enables you to deal significantly more damage. It results in a really enjoyable type of fighting that is built not just on non-stop action, but also on that awesome feeling you get when you simply avoid a powerful assault. Number 6. Star Defender. A Star Defender is followed by Star Defender 4. A dark fog galaxy is a favorable place for enemy jets. According to intelligence reports, sneaky insects from the Insects planet have recovered their vigor following their previous defeat and are preparing to invade Earth. To kill the bugs in the embryo, you must travel to the enemy's lair. The most cutting-edge technology was used in the construction of your spaceship, which is equipped with the most potent armaments. It will assist the player in surviving hundreds of missions and completely defeating the adversary. Number 5. The Metal Gear series. Few things can make the brain release a rush of dopamine and endorphins like blocking a huge Metal Gear arm with a little sword, throwing it into the air, and slicing it in half while Rules of Nature is playing. With superfluid mobility and combat, the ability to slice through almost anything, and a quick ninja run that makes you feel like a Jedi with the power to deflect bullets automatically, Metal Gear Rising is just innately awesome. But beyond that, Metal Gear Rising also has a distinctive combat system that, like Bayonetta, heavily relies on tactical defense, but instead emphasizes parries rather than dodges, and also throws in a slick-as-hell technique called Zandatsu that allows you to slice open your enemies in specific spots, grab their cyber hearts, and crush them to refill your health and energy. Number 4. Devil May Cry 3. Simply said, since its 2005 release, Devil May Cry 3 has been considered one of the pinnacles of the action genre. Its influence on the action genre is irrevocably cemented. When it comes to the different ways you may tinker with the fighting in Devil May Cry 3, there is just a level of freedom that is completely unheard of in video games, without losing its appeal to people who aren't necessarily interested in delving so deeply. It is an action game with a combat system that includes a level of depth and complexity generally reserved for fighting games. Along with all of that, it also boasts the series' coolest cutscenes, greatest music, a most impressive armory of weapons, and selectable difficulties that promote repeated playthroughs. Number 3. Devil May Cry 5. Since the release of the first Devil May Cry back in 2001, the series has been building up to Devil May Cry 5, which represents the series' close to perfect culmination. It is stylish action at its best, with 3 different playstyles that are each enjoyable in their way. A fantastic progression of skills that make you feel like a true god by the time you reach the end, and 2 generations worth of quality of life improvements that simply make it more enjoyable to play than Devil May Cry 3. Although Nero was first seen in Devil May Cry 4, a game that narrowly missed making this list, he seems completely realized in DMC 5 thanks to the addition of his Devil Breakers. Number 2. Black Ninja Gaiden. In contrast to Devil May Cry, which has always been the standard bearer for stylish action games, Ninja Gaiden Black presented something fresh. With foes that would suffocate you with a barrage of sword slashes, shurikens, gunfire, rockets, and other types of nastiness, it is hyper-focused on constant aggression. But fortunately, Ninja Gaiden does a superb job of arming you with the skills required to overcome its extreme challenge. The movement of Ryu Hayabusa feels superior to that of almost every other action game out there. He is incredibly mobile. He can race up walls, utilize the flying swallow dash to cut through opponents, jump off of their heads, and by timing a strong slash to land just as you start to suck essence, you can immediately use an extremely potent ultimate technique. Number 1. 2018's God of War. God of War 2018 advanced the genre in ways it hadn't been since DMC effectively redefined it back in 2001. It was simply the whole package. Breathtaking visuals, extraordinary combat that applied the fundamental principles of the previous God of War's combat to a wholly new style of play, an epic narrative that also hit on a very emotional and relatable level, brilliant character progression, and the list goes on. God of War is a significant advancement for gaming in general as well as the action genre. If you liked this video, follow us and you will find many videos that will help you to transform your life. Thanks for watching all the video. Please subscribe and hit the bell. See you soon.